Life gets better after 30, at least for men. We've all heard that, right? Finally, you know how to dress. Finally, you've moved out of home, have a job, get a bunch of promotions. You kind of become more confident. You start really understanding who you are. So, no surprise that women go for guys who are way older than them. I've seen it many times. The 22-year-old who only dates guys who are 29 plus, the 24-year-old who is in a relationship with the 34-year-old, and so on. So, is it true that your masculine prime often starts at 30? Yes, that's absolutely true. Is it true for everyone? Absolutely not. Most guys don't make it. Most guys just stop improving themselves at 25.
Loser.
And then they fall into a toxic relationship with some dominant alpha woman, which ultimately often leads to divorce or horrible relationship. If divorced, she takes the children away. If they stay together, you basically waste your whole life. In this video, I want to go really deep, especially on two phases in a man's life. 20 to 25, the easy years. 25 to 30, the great male filter. Now, if you're watching this in your 30s, 40s, 50s, or beyond, you have to watch it even more so. You have more urgency. You need to fix certain things in your life at full speed in order to have the dream life you desire and the dating life that you want. Part 1, the easy years. You're in high school, you're in college, you're just cruising, right? You're going to school every day, you got your friends in uni. Sure, there are some guys who are way ahead at that level. We've seen them on YouTube, all of us, the 22-year-olds, the 24-year-olds who have big companies and a lot of employees. Maybe that's a bit triggering for that reason. But for 99% of us, we go to school, we have a social circle there, we do normal people stuff in our teens and 20s. The beautiful thing here is we're all kind of on the same social level from a status point of view, and college solves the community problem for us, right? We go to the same places and we don't have to put extra effort in to meet people. We're just hanging out at university. Even if we are a bit nerdy, you know, maybe we're not part of the cool kids, we're not in the football team, but we still got our nerdy programming club. We still got our buddies who are on the same level. We still kind of all get along. There's no massive discrepancy of income, of social status, of access to women at that point. Same goes for the women's expectations. All they know is guys from college. So sure, would they rather date, you know, the alpha football guy here and there? Yeah, but in general, they are not exposed yet to the big world with CEOs and, you know, other totally alpha kind of men in their 30s who figured it all out. So they're happily experimenting, they're dating, they're getting slutty at college parties. And that can be a great advantage. Even if you don't get laid during high school and college, don't worry about it. You have plenty of time later to catch up. Also, girls haven't tasted yet the power of an older man. So they might still happily date a guy 1, 2, 3 years older at the same age than them. Girls also don't have that much expectations on your career, right? We're all in college. We're all figuring it out. People are studying this, people are studying that. Maybe you have a side hustle, maybe not. It doesn't really matter. You're not being rated as much yet on your stability, on your financial income, if you have a company, what your job is. It's a bit of a dreamland in that sense still. Girls just don't know yet what they want, and the really hot girls don't know yet how hot they are, how much they will be desired in future, how high their sexual market value is. Now, good things can last forever. This sounds like a dream world. I would love to go back to high school or college with what I know now. Well, too late, and probably you watching this are thinking the same. Eventually, this is over and we're entering the real world. Part 2, the real world. After uni, life moves at you fast, right? Just half a year ago, you've been chilling with friends, you attended classes a couple hours a day, you missed exams, you could get high right after school, you come hungover to the next class. Sure, you had some stress of passing exams, but really you were not in the real world. And suddenly everything changes. You get out of college, everybody has a degree, and now your friends are going into different directions. That could mean career-wise, could mean location-wise, relationship-wise. So, for example, everybody is trying to get a job now, and different people get different jobs. Maybe some people in college already worked up to getting a higher paid job or a higher status job during their college time. Suddenly you realize, damn, maybe I did waste some of my years in college. Maybe I did chill too much it becomes intimidating. Some might realize, maybe that my degree is useless and I should have done this instead of that. And the first time in your life, you might think, oh my God, you have the sense of regret and urgency, and you might feel like, oh, I've wasted valuable time. And you look at those other guys who dropped out of school at 16, became a plumber or some other, technical job. They've been grinding their way up. They've been saving. They've been keeping it low, steady income. They put away 20, 25K a year. Now they make 100K a year because, they're already managing little teams. They're ready to buy a house at 25.
Just bought this new Lamborghini here.
And all you have is a piece of paper.
Okay.
Other guys are moving away. Finally, they are free. They can travel to different countries. They can take on jobs in different states. They become digital nomads. Maybe it's coupled with a relationship. Now they don't want to hang out as much anymore. You don't just go to school anymore, meet your buddies, hang out. Now they have girlfriends. They want to stay at home. They don't want to go drink anymore. Or they got real schedules now. They have to, finish projects, show up at the office early. They basically, a lot of your network is now growing up, and the danger is that you are not. No wonder you feel alone and confused now. Your buddies you would used to go to the bar with suddenly are busy with their girlfriends. You don't get this social vibe on a daily basis anymore. The guys you would used to play online games with, they just don't show up anymore. Maybe people stop sport even. We hear that a lot as well. Yeah, you feel left. And who are your friends now? Who are your buddies? Who are your mentors when it comes to getting to the next level, right? Back then, you would study together, you would complain about a teacher, you would work hard to finish this exam. Now there's this new set of challenges. Sure, you might have your dad. You can ask him and, he has been to college before or he made that same transition. The problem is the world changed by a lot. And you know what changed the most? The dating world. Modern dating is just incredibly different than it was 50, 60 years ago. Quickly you will realize that the women you're meeting now, that you're trying to date now, they're screening you way harder. It's not as easy anymore as being the quirky, cool, or alpha guy in the class, or the one who's really good at that, or, just basically falling into a relationship by meeting the same girl over and over at the gym. They are in a way bigger stress now than you are. I mean, think about it. Even if you're a guy and 33 years old, or let's even say at 41 years old, or 52 years old, you can still recover. You can really make something out of you still with the basic elements of working on your style, working on your body, working on your finances, and especially working on your lifestyle and exposure to women. And then when you meet them, having strong charisma, which as a man can be learned. It doesn't really matter what age you are. Sure, you might have wasted a lot of your life and you don't have as much left to build and to get ahead, but you can recover. You know who can't? Women. It's sad, but it's true. I've seen it over and over. They're in a big stress constantly. When they enter the age between 25 and 30, they are in husband searching mode because they know beauty fades fast. Their value goes down. For us men, it can keep going up for another 10 years easily, if not more. If you follow the stuff that I'm gonna discuss later in this video, you can have an amazing male upwards trajectory. For women, it's just harder. Beauty is such an important part of their sexual market value, like it or not. And obviously, they need to think, can I still have children? Does the guy who will marry me want children with me? And so on. So they will be ruthless with dating, and that can be intimidating. Suddenly, girls, you see it on Instagram. They screen not for the nice guy. They don't ask anymore, oh, what concerts you like to go to, and oh, you into art, that's cool, oh, you play the guitar. Now it's just like, what do you do? Who are you as a man? Did you work on yourself or did you not? Are you trying to be a strong male provider? Are you trying to be a high value man on many elements? Or are you just cruising through life and you're basically still a high school student? If yes, sorry, next, quick, don't waste my time. Which leads us to part 3, the great male filter. The YouTube channel First Man made an amazing video on this concept. It basically describes men from the age of 25 to 30 and separates them in 2 groups. And really, it shows this is the time when you turn from a boy to a man. It's an efficient market force in the dating economy, so to say. Like, think about, how does the price of bread get set? In communist countries, it was set by central agencies. That's why it never really worked out and they had to rely on police and fear and violence to make stuff work. In the book, The Bitcoin Standard, I heard a story that in the 1970s, a Soviet minister visited London And he looked at all the bakeries in town and he was surprised of like, how do you guys figure that out? What amazing central agency you have. What is your algorithm of defining the price of bread? So they asked the Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher at that time, and she was like, nobody's deciding that. We just let the market figure it out by themselves. We've heard this before, right? Supply and demand. This is how prices get set. This is how the economy works somehow magically. It's really important that you, from now on, see the dating landscape as an economy as well. It sounds brutal, but we're all fighting for certain metrics in that, let's call it love economy as well. We're fighting for attention, social status, sex, access to events, access to new circles, to networks. We're fighting for time and focus and somebody listening to us, energy, different forms of love and affection, cuddling, good feelings, different forms of hormones that we can only get from a loving partner. And this sounds brutal, like suddenly I'm comparing, having a loving sexual romantic night with buying bread in a bakery. Yes, it can be cold and brutal, but it is important that you see it that way at the beginning. Yes, we all want that loving relationship in the end. We all want that wife that we can open up to, that we really bonded with and make children with her and have this loving, honest, open human relationship with. And that is my goal, and it is your goal probably as well, to have that one day. That doesn't mean you can be open, weak, even vulnerable, totally honest all the time in the early stages of a relationship. The reality is, if you are, you will soon be hit by reality again, because women will filter you out. Why are they doing this? Why are they so harsh? I mentioned it because they have to. They have to see, do you understand the realities of dating? Do you understand what women are looking for in what phases of their life? And if you're too vulnerable and open early on, you just don't understand that they also need a strong man, a protector, a guy who can get shit done, who can solve problems, and you will be filtered out. James Marshall defined the term seductive economy already over 10 years ago, and he's looking at it even broader. He's including different forms of debts and favors and non-financial stuff into that whole system of economy, so to say. So I'm not making this up, and it's a great way to see the world. So I want you to think about, especially at the early phases of dating, when you're trying to present yourself on the marketplace, you are the product, right? You have certain attributes. You are running certain marketing campaigns. That can be how you present yourself to the world, how you dress, how you speak, how you stand, how's your posture, how do you approach, what do you say, are you boring or not? All of this is an ad. It's a version of you. It's like a little trial. It's a little taste. And you present yourself on the marketplace as you as the product, or your dick, or your attention, or, whatever. There is competitors. There's other guys who are trying to outcompete you, who do it either with better features, better placement, better positioning. We're talking about seductive arbitrage here, or location arbitrage. That's why it's often great to move to a different country. Certain places are harder than others. So you're the product, you're on this marketplace, you have competitors, you're running certain ads, you have certain features. Maybe it makes it easier for you actually to run that through your brain and understand all your shortcomings, all the stuff you're currently not doing. And maybe you're not surprised anymore why it is so difficult for you to get the dating life that you imagine. And it's the old 80-20 principle that again applies. Imagine a street with 10 coffee shops opening up. We are in a boom economy. Everybody gets loans and everybody is starting a business and everything is great. Well, what happens after a boom? Eventually there will be a recession or just a stagnant period in economy. Who will survive? The ones who have the best coffee or the best positioning or the best prices, and just in general makes the customer feel like they're getting the best deal. What happens to the other 8 places? They have to close down their business. Maybe the real estate is even getting bought up by the 20% that wins. And it's like that over and over again. 80-20 principle, if you've never heard about it, look it up right now. Pareto principle. It's a great way to see the world through, and in general, it's just good to stop bitching about this kind of stuff. You can whine, you can complain, you can blame the government, you can blame the big players and fuck the big economies and industries and monopolies, and fuck the alphas, fuck the Chad. What does he know? He's not even emotional. They are. They are in the right moment, and you are complaining and you are falling behind through that. Between 25 and 30 and beyond, you are competing against other guys. The good news is most guys suck. They don't even try really. They either lack the creativity, the confidence, the inspiration, the mentors, or in general the drive or the urgency to really take their life in their own hands and get out of what they're currently doing in a location way, in a relationship way. They're just lazy. That is what it is. So, good news for you. If you can make it out of your current situation, you're actually not facing as much competition as you would think. I've been living in many different countries throughout my life. I grew up in Austria, then I spent a whole year doing social service in Nicaragua, then I moved more east to Hungary, and then I moved even more east to the Ukraine. Throughout those years, especially the last 3 or 4 years, I've also been doing a couple of months in Barcelona, a couple of months in Bali, a little bit Cape Town, a little bit New York. So I know the international dating scene pretty well. And I'm always shocked that really good places for, I would say, men between 25 and 40 aren't that full with digital nomads. You might think, oh, it's, everybody's moving around these days. Everybody's digital nomad. No, some people might try for a month and give up again, or they just don't have the endurance. Places like Kiev, places like Budapest, places like Bali are full of hot women because of genetics and, again, market forces as well. Especially with Bali, a lot of Ukrainians and Russians are going there. And the competition is pretty low. It's either the locals, which you often can outcompete easily, or it's the hippie kind of guys or the, spiritual guys who are finding themselves. So you have a huge advantage there. If you think about it, these are countries with millions of people and cities with still 2 or 3 million people, a lot of young, attractive girls. I've lived in those places. If you're a guy who has his shit together, who works online, of course, that's important, who has a nice Instagram, who works out regularly, who hosts some events, who is not totally cringy, has some charisma, maybe has a dating coach to help him out, you can get ahead really fast versus staying in your, Nebraska city or Munich or, wherever you currently are. It's kind of like every day in a place where you can use that leverage. You also learn faster. You will meet more people. You will make social mistakes quicker, adapt quicker, level up quicker. Obviously, I want to acknowledge that different phases in life require different locations. So, obviously, you grow up in your hometown. Most of us don't move around that much. Your dating net is pretty tight, right? There's the girls in your school. There's the girls you meet at lunch or whatever. That's even a problem. A lot of people are stuck in those villages. Then we often have a phase of exploration. Maybe we do backpacking, we move around. We don't really care if the place is also fitting for business or that we can set up there or we can make friends there or we like the culture. We just, spend a month in Colombia, go to Thailand, And then there's a phase where we can still be a digital nomad. We can still establish ourselves. But now what becomes also important is building a tribe of men, having good internet, having some level of luxury, or at least can rent a villa and split it and have fast internet and get good quality food. The other interesting part there is there are, if you think about it, not that many places where you can do that. So I was naming a few, there's a bunch more, but that's kind of it in that phase of your life where you can work really well, but you can also really improve your social life. And there's other places where you just have to work so much harder. You have to invest so much more resources to get the same level of status, the same level of hot girls in your close environment. Places like New York, LA, you're competing against these rich guys who spend money on tables and have the penthouse apartment and order the private driver to the girl. Also, the girls are getting so spoiled there. So really think strategically about your location. As I said with the coffee shop, right? You wouldn't open a new coffee place where you just don't have as much money yet to put into furniture and into advertising right next to the huge giants where you're just, getting crushed. You would think, okay, what country doesn't have that type of shop yet? Maybe I should move there and open a store there. Part 4, the 5 elements of dating success. Great, you decided you want to change. You want to go out there. You want to do stuff. You want to exist in the marketplace. You want to be at the top. You want to be a 1% man. Beautiful. Where to start? Do we go to the Rolex shop? Do we buy a car? Do we put down a payment for the house? Good stuff, but not really. In my book, The 5 Elements of Dating Success, which you can, by the way, download for free in the description, limited time only, I talk about exactly that. And again, the Pareto's principle comes in. I learned over 10 years of focusing heavily on dating, attracting beautiful women in my life, and coaching hundreds of guys. Barcelona, baby! That the real thing that makes a difference are your charm, your charisma, the way you handle yourself, the way you look at girls in the eyes, the way you can hold up a conversation, the way you can escalate, hold pressure, your humor in a way, your flirtation skills, your sexual skills in the bedroom. All that is about 50%, and your lifestyle is about 25 to 30%. Lifestyle meaning, what you got going on? Can you bring women to a network, to an exciting social circle, to cool activities? Will her life be enriched by dating you, or is it only you? The other things are body and style and money. Money obviously matters the least when it's only in your bank account, right? Like, this is the biggest lie of modern media, that you need the car, you need the house, you need the suit, you need the Rolex, and then you will the bitches. She doesn't get any out of that. She wants that you have a cool life, that she goes on trips with you maybe, that you have cool friends, you do fun activities. If you just hoard your money in a bank account, what does she get out of that? Maybe she's quickly trying to you, you put a kid in her, and then she divorces you, but I don't think you want that. So use your money to have a cool lifestyle. Use your money even to have more charisma, to be more social, right? There is a way to buy that, and it's by training, by coaching. Also, don't think fitness is the way to go. Some guys go hardcore at the gym, right? They go only job, then super hardcore at the gym. They fill up their whole entire schedule with just money and fitness. And then they're still surprised why the girl doesn't love them. It's just like, you're just a dude with a six-pack who saved up some money. She can't really date that guy. It doesn't have this appealing factor to it. Another big lie is status. Yes, status is very important in dating, especially in the higher echelons of society and the models and the da-da-da. Maybe you don't want that anyway. It can be quite egoistic and narcissistic in those circles. Status matters there, but again, it comes back to lifestyle and charisma. Just because you have a certain title, or you stand on stage, or people look at you, or you have a big social media following, yes, this will get you exactly that, a following, likes, attention, but not the good part, the intimacy, the touch, the bonding relationships, the sexy sex, the crazy sex, right? The orgies even, or the threesomes. If you don't know how to handle the woman, if you don't know how to talk to her, if you don't know how to seduce her, if you're like, I'm Mr. DJ, me, she's gonna be like, no. And then will some girls say yes to that offer just to be able to say, yes, I fucked the high status guy? Yes. But guess what? It will not be the one you want at that level. This is why even guys like Drake still write songs about how they couldn't get the one they wanted, because at the end of the day, it's about charisma. It's about, can you really charm a girl? Can you really be the Casanova in her world that she can't forget? And you need to learn a lot of principles, pressure, jealousy, certain manipulative tactics here and there, which all lead to her truly desiring you. So to put it simply, in summary, the great filter is filtering out the guys who never learn how to talk to girls. Let's talk about action steps that you can do today to get ahead, to increase your market value. There's quick fixes. Your style probably sucks. Throw out 80% of what you have. It probably sucks. Look up some Pinterest inspiration. You can figure it out, or book a call with me. Fitness. Take your body serious. Take the stairs. Work out. Hire a trainer if it's too hard. I understand. Things are hard. That's why I hire coaches for many areas in my life. Stop eating seed oil. Stop eating shit with long ingredient lists. Take tracking calories serious for at least a week. You will feel better. You will perform better. Okay, that's the easy stuff. Let's talk about what really matters. First, your lifestyle. When it comes to lifestyle, let's talk about hobbies. Do your hobbies include women? How often do you interact with women you want to have sex with during your lifestyle hobbies? If it's very little, the reality is your hobby sucks. it's time to let go of it, because this is the root level of why you first of all lack charisma, because you're just not talking with women enough, because you don't interact with them. So how would you get any practice? Women don't want to hang out with you, because it's just like, why would I hang out with this dude? All he does is work, then play in a rock band with his male colleagues, then plays some video games with his male colleagues, and then he comes home tired, sits on the couch, wants to watch Netflix with me. So an easy example is, are you in a rock band? My friend, he was in a rock band for a long time. He loves metal guitar, and he realized one day, I will never get chicks of that.
But never say never.
I'm really good at guitar.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Playing guitar is a sexy thing. It can be. You know when? When you take it out on the street. Become a busker instead. It's social freedom exercise. You have to interact with humans all day long. You're out in nature and in cities, and you interact with hot women, because yes, that's sexy. A guy playing guitar, not only shredding, but being outside, presenting himself, overcoming his fears, being admired by all these other people around. This is high value. Maybe you have some other nerdy hobby like Dungeons and Dragons or World of Warcraft or whatever other games are out there these days. You have to quit it, man. I mean, you're not a child anymore. You have to become more charismatic. This is a very isolated way of being social. And I'm speaking from experience, because guess what my hobby was from age 16 to 22? It was online poker, where you basically look at cards and a number on your screen all day long, and you're trying to make money. Did I make a lot of money? No, was enough to get by. But one day I realized, even if I would make 3 or 4 times money with online poker, I'm not learning anything else anymore. I'm just getting better at playing one type of card game. So quit your hobby and learn something that really helps you in life. Can be an improv class, right? There again, you have to learn to be charismatic. You have to sign up. You have to go somewhere. You have to interact with different people. You have to become creative. You go for different scenes. Much better for your dating life. And I'm not telling you stop all your hobbies. They're dumb and you should only now be a cool guy so girls like you. You can take things that inspire you, even about Dungeons and Dragons, like being creative, making up a character, figuring out a story, but then put it in something where there's women as well. Same with the music example. Maybe you love being outside in nature. Maybe you love to go on hikes. Cool. Make that a regular thing and combine it with cold approach. One of my clients, he had big troubles with dating, and he was already hiking, but then he just turned it into an event where people also get some photos for their social media, where there was like some meal at the end of it, and he invited every girl he would meet on the street during parties to that hiking event. And within a few weeks, it totally took off. He had more girls agreeing that he could even handle. And of course, in that setting, he's the leader, he has high status, and he's regularly getting laid with a simple hiking event every week now. For me, it was photography. If you would see my old photos, you would cringe. I would love taking photos of hills and trees and how a bee would like come to a flower. And, I would buy like a 600 euro macro lens just so I can capture insects better. Okay, I was really into the tech. I love technology, and I was hyped on, taking higher resolution pictures. Finally, I realized nobody gives a f***. There's already millions and billions of photos of insects. Probably I will never come into the, Nature National Geographic magazine. Finally, I turned it social. I asked girls, hey, can I take a photo of you? They're like, yeah, sure. Everybody loves it. I became good at it quickly. Suddenly, girls were putting up my photos on their social media. It was a cool way to connect. It was a cool way to show I could direct them. I could tell them how to move around. I was able to turn it into a more sexual vibe, and it was appropriate. It was even a way of escalating, right? Take that off. Oh my God, looks great. Encouraging the girl, making her feel sexy. So many seductive elements in that versus me just pointing a camera at a sunset or doing a time lapse or anything like that. Think about your hobbies now. What are you doing now? What inspires you? What do you love about your hobby? What kind of guy are you? And how could you turn that thing into something that also attracts women into it? Next up, your charisma. This is 50%. This is huge. This is non-negotiable. Even if you have all the elements, you're not a complete man who women really want to date. I split it up in 5 sections. So the 50%, I give 10% each to approaching, social freedom, communication, which is again a bigger term in itself, romance, which basically means are you romantic, can you escalate, can you touch, and sexual skill, which is then, can you actually fuck her well? Each of these elements you can work on. The reality is you have to meet women to work on all of these elements. None of this you can learn in a book. Sure, you can look up a video on how to finger a girl, or you can look up the 10 best openers, or you can download a texting guide, which I actually have, and you can click below. I don't know, do some social freedom exercises? Not really, you cannot learn it in a book. You will massively increase your charisma with one thing, and it is start approaching women. The difference between watching 100 hours of content or reading 50 books on a topic and seduction and human psychology and how it all works and history of men and women and gender and that versus doing one single approach on a street is massive. It will make you face your demons. It will instantly make you understand where you're at as a man, what you're lacking, what you have to work on. It's incredible, really. And it's a shame most guys miss out on it. But again, if you're one of the guys who can overcome those fears and go out and approach, even if it's just 1 or 2 or 3 women a day for 100 days on average, you'll be so much ahead of the competition. If this is hard for you, I understand. I've struggled for years to do my first approach. I rarely regret anything in life. I think I had a good life. I experienced a lot. If I would pin down certain years in my life that I regret, it's me waiting to do my first approach because I didn't have the right support network. Only when I met my mentor James and the crew, I was able to do it on a regular basis. If you need a support network, if you need a brotherhood, join the Social Academy. We talk in the Discord every day, we support each other, and by joining the Social Academy, you also get access to a whole video course that explains the 5 elements in more detail, explains the social dominance pyramid, and with each video module, you also get a bunch of missions that you can report on that will make you go out, that will make you take those first steps. So if you want to join, you can cancel every month. It's just 27 euros. You click below.
Just point and click.
Once you start approaching, you get instant feedback on things like your eye contact. Is it strong or are you looking away all the time? You can fix your stutter. You can fix your tonation. Do you always talk like this? Or can you put a dot in a sentence? To meditate, to stay calm under pressure, to ask better questions like, are you boring? Are you out of things to say all the time? And you will be a better listener as well as a better storyteller at the same time. Now that sounds fun, but why are you not approaching? Most likely because you don't have social freedom. You have the opposite. You have social anxiety, you have resistance. Basically, you care too much what people think about you. Why is that? We can go into depth on that. I talk a lot about that on my coaching calls with my private clients. But really ask yourself, why do you care so much about what that old lady at the bus stop thinks about you, or that couple sitting on a bench? As you think about approaching a girl, why is it instantly in your mind what anybody else thinks about you or the girl, or what you think about yourself? You're basically living in a prison. Yes, it's hard, I understand. But once you get out of it, trust me, the world opens up. So many new possibilities come into that. The man who is socially free will win. He will become more charismatic, he will become a better leader, because now he can finally go for what he wants. And he can voice it. He can go out there and attack and fight and grab the thing he desires. That makes him a better boss, a better negotiator, a stronger man in every sense of the word. You'll be able to step up for yourself. You'll be able to step up for others. You become a better father even. You're not doing things anymore to please other people. Do you feel like you're a people pleaser? Do you feel like you have the nice guy syndrome? Then you lack social freedom and you need to approach. Because the only way, again, to gain social freedom is to constantly slap that voice in the face that comes up, which is like, I'm not good enough. Oh, what are other people thinking? I shouldn't have talked to her. Who am I to do this? This voice will keep coming back and back and back. And basically the act of approaching is you training yourself to ignore that voice or to hear it and to do it anyway. Next 10% is your communication skills. So that means, how do you text? How do you talk? Is your conversation too logical because you spend so much time with men all the time and you don't even know how to talk to women? Do you interrupt all the time? Or are you simply nervous, right? Do you always make illogical sentences, or you drag it out too long, or you're in between staring at her but interrupting her, or are you always laughing at the end, or are you always repeating back what she says? All that stuff you need to fix. And also it goes broader in the sense of, are you able to improvise? Can you create a scene instantly? Can you entertain her a bit? Or can you also just shut up and let the silence speak for a while? Which leads us to romance. Can you be romantic? Can you create a romantic mood? Which basically means two ways. Can you hug, escalate physically? Can you touch at the right moment in a, gentle way? Are you good at touch? Do women like being touched by you? And yes, this can be learned as well. And can you hold pressure? Can you basically induce romantic, sexual tension into a normal interaction? Can you put her in a role play? Can you make her fantasize? Can you put the right type of pressure on her? Not a negative, cringy, nervous pressure, but a sexual tension. Can you do that with women? Or does it only happen when she's doing all the work? If you do all that right, eventually you will end up in the bedroom or wherever else you want to have sexual intercourse. The reality is, if you really suck in bed, yes, you might get laid, but you might always get laid with a new girl, because simply if you can't fuck her well, now you're really again relying on your personality and other stuff. You want her to come back, right? Luckily, there's teachers for that as well. I mean, the best in the game is my mentor, James Marshall. He just released the Master Lover Method, which is an incredibly big, extensive course on sexuality. So if that's something you feel like you could be better in bed and you're not giving women at least an 8 out of 10 experience when you sleep with them and you try, then you should invest in such a course. So in summary, 80% of your focus should be on the 80% that matters, which is charm and lifestyle, which basically means start approaching women, stop watching porn, cancel your shitty hobbies and start hobbies that expose you to female energy. And you know the crazy part about my advice? You can all do this today. You can get a coffee right now and walk for 5 blocks instead of 1 block. And you can wave and say hi at 5 people on the way, which already makes you more social. You can stop this video and look up a yoga class in your neighborhood, and you could probably reserve the first lesson right now. Because let's be honest, if you don't put something in your calendar in the next 30 minutes, you're probably gonna not do anything new social for the next 3 months. You can stop watching porn, or at least if it's too hard to break your maybe heavy porn addiction, you can build a better relationship with your sexuality. You can stop jerking off on your table and you can lay down, you can turn off lights, you can maybe light a candle, put on some music, maybe use lube, and see if you could masturbate for 30 minutes. Basically, the goal is you want to come as late as possible. You want to simulate real sex as much as possible. All of these tips will make you a higher value man, and you don't need to work for years and years. You don't need to build an agency. You don't need to get a relationship with a Rolex dealer. You don't need to save up for a house. You can do all of this right now, today. You know the worst part though? Even though all my advice is quite actionable, you won't do any of it. Women will simply not respect you because you just sit here watching YouTube video after YouTube video. They will look at you and think, what have you done the last 10 years? What have you been spending your time with? What do you got to show for being a man of the 21st century and having all these tools and crazy internet offerings and all the knowledge in the world in your pocket, all the free YouTube guys on fitness and fashion? None of it you've done, none of it you've taken action on. They will filter you out, and to be honest, you deserve it. You just haven't put in the work. It sounds brutal, but stop watching videos and take action. Ironically, even though my advice is so actionable, 90% of guys will probably not take any action. And these types of guys, they just won't be respected by women. Fair enough, right? I mean, women will ask themselves, what have you been doing for the last 10 years? What's going on? Why are you not taking yourself serious? Why you don't respect yourself? Why should I respect you if you show up on a date like this in this type of fashion, if you have a skinny fat physique, if you're full of excuses why you couldn't get ahead, if you ask me the same boring questions, if you always takes the same boring shit. Fair enough. You've been filtered out, and rightfully so. Even worse, or on a similar level, if you look at my 7 levels pyramid of the social hierarchy, you also won't gain the respect from the man you want in your life. You don't want to hang out with your old high school friends. You don't want to hang out with the dudes who are losers who also never level up. Like, how are you supposed to get stronger if your entire network is not even interested in getting stronger? You want the respect. You want to be in a brotherhood of guys who are on level 3 and 4, who are soldiers and knights, who also decided, I want to get more out of life. I'm tired of being a slob. I don't want to act like a boy anymore. I want to become a man, right? So by making this decision, they turn into soldiers, and by uniting with different soldiers, other soldiers, they become a knight brotherhood. If you are stuck on level 2 instead of trying to be 3, 4, 5, you will never attract men in your life that are on level 3, 4, and 5. Which is really bad news, because the cliche of you are the average of the 5 people you spend most time with is simply true. The good news though is you can also start that today. Very basic level. To become a soldier, to take action, all you need to do is, first of all, decide you will take action, schedule something in like I said, and bring a friend. So if you now call a buddy and say, let's go to the gym tomorrow, whatever, 6 p.m., and you show up and he shows up, this is a huge step. Now you keep each other accountable, and you both decided to make each other stronger, and you're leveling up against all the other men who is simply not able to take that step. For everybody in their 30s, 40s, 50s watching this, don't worry, you can still recover. The main thing you have to understand is you will have to work harder than guys in their 20s. That's just the reality. You have to admit to yourself that you've probably been focusing on the wrong things. Because let me guess, probably most of your lifetime you've been focusing on your career for various reasons. Who can blame you, right? Our whole society is built on diplomas, career, status, titles. But admit to yourself, all that work, all that time that you focused on making money and having materialistic stuff, which is not a bad thing, by the way, but you've just put too much focus on it. What did it get you? Are you happy? Do you have women in your life? Do you feel like you could seduce a girl off the street? You can approach, you feel good, you feel confident? No, probably not enough. If that's the fact that whatever got you here will not get you there. So the main focus from now on needs to be of you becoming more social, which will improve your charisma and improve your lifestyle. Take social actions. And just as you have to quit certain hobbies, you will have to quit certain relationships. I'm just telling you honestly, I don't have any fat friends. Not because they're bad people, it just shows a lack of discipline. And I need my guys that hang out with me, that live with me. Right now, I live in a house in Turkey with 6 people. I need these people to be disciplined. Yes, can somebody be fat but also be really disciplined at his work? Yes, but in my experience, they're full of excuses and I don't want to have any of it. I love teaching students who are fat because I love to see a change. I love to see a transformation. I love when they see me as a mentor and they're ready and they're committed, which they show me by paying me to make a change. So I'm not like fat phobic. I just need a strong support network around me. And so do you. Cut out the level 1, level 2 people. You cannot expect to operate in all levels. Guys who are on level 5, let's say, will hang out with guys of level 4, but they will not hang out with somebody who hangs out with guys on level 1 or 2. It's just a reality. Accept it. It's nothing unethical. It's just how the world works. Now let's talk about if you do make it through the great filter. How is life? Basically, congratulations, life is easier now. You're playing on God mode. You're in the top 1% and girls are seeking out your attention. I basically did everything I mentioned in this video over the last 10 years. It wasn't always easy. It was a wild ride, and you basically, like Steve Jobs said, you can only connect the dots looking backwards, not forwards, but it was all worth it. I had to move away from my country. I had to see my family less. I had to break up with girls that I was really in love with. I had to get rejected on the street about 3,000 times. I had to make businesses that failed. I had to present myself on stage even though I wasn't feeling prepared. I had to abandon certain relationships, friends, networks, pieces of clothing that I was sentimental about, but it is all worth it because now I earned the respect of powerful men around me. And this is really the true outcome there. The women are nice, right? I don't have a problem anymore attracting women. I don't have a problem anymore approaching. I can arrive in any city in the world and within 48 hours, I will have a date and I can take her maybe home the same day, or throughout the week, I will for sure have some form of romantic sexual experience. This is great. I actually proved this on my YouTube channel in another video. But the real gain is I live my life how I want. I make 6 figures now, which is way more than I would have made otherwise. Even if I would have followed the career path, I would maybe make 3,000 or 4,000 a year in Austria, or need to move to a boring city to work an office job. I now get to live with exactly the people I want to hang out with. I can be incredibly selective with who I spend my time with. This is so valuable. And at the same time, I can move to whatever country I want to go to because I can just tell the people I hang out with, let's spend a month there. And because these people also have online businesses, or they already made their wealth, or they have a great setup, they can just say, let's do it. So my life is based on freedom on so many levels. Social freedom, financial freedom, location freedom. I do what I want all the time. Now I want to build a strong coaching brand. I want to help people. This is exciting to me. This gives me better feelings than just working for money, right? I want to work for money and help people and get the validation of transforming people's life. So I built all this through hard work. I built all that by being extremely strategic about the stuff I mentioned to you in this video. Nothing is random. If you look at my Instagram, if you even look at my body, my style, I literally have, maybe if you think this is funny, I have a Notion project. So I use Notion, maybe you know it, comment below if you love Notion as well. And I have a project management kind of set up there. One project literally says, get to 10 tattoos in the next 18 months. And that's connected to a certain pillar in my life, which is be more attractive, right? And then in the project, there's a task. Book tattoo appointment in Budapest. Then think what is next 2 tattoos after that, and so on. So even though it looks like, oh, I'm just this guy who has tattoos, who travels around, everything is laid out. I plan certain trips 8 months in advance, and then I make it look as it's, just this crazy spontaneous decision. So I'm very structured about all this, and you have to as well. Life won't just give you stuff. It will when you have a setup, when you set up good stuff. It is common that the riches are getting richer, not because they're so greedy, but it's because it's become so easy making money once you're rich. I've heard this story. A guy has like 100 million, and then quickly somebody needs 25 million. And he would make like 10% in a month if he has liquid cash. So he's like, okay, here's 25 million. And a month later, he gets back that plus 10%. How hard is it for us normal people to even make 5, 6, 7% a year? Same principles with lifestyle, with charm. If you hang out around a lot of women, suddenly it snowballs. More women than I can handle. My new problem is I want the 1% girls, right? The ones everybody's fighting over. I compete now with guys who are 5 to 10 years older than me, who also really worked on the 5 elements throughout their life. For me, it's fun. It's a new challenge. I'm still leveling up, and I love helping guys in the progress, basically taking what I learn in the day-to-day life and all that stuff I have to deal with and bringing it into my coaching sessions and helping my students on their stage in life. So basically, it feels good to be at the top, mainly because I know what I'm avoiding. I don't have toxic relationships in my life. I don't have friends that drag me down. I don't live in places that I feel unhealthy in or where I feel stuck. And I don't need stuff like drugs and alcohol or video games to make myself feel better. But most importantly, I got rid of the constant feeling of there must be more to life. So if you can resonate with that, if you sometimes wonder what's on the other side, isn't there more to life, you feel kind of stuck, I do understand you. And I also understand, like I mentioned, the Pareto principle. 80% of people watching this will just never take action, whatever it is. I'm not angry, but it is the reality. If you're one of the guys who want to take action, you can click below, you can book a free consultation call with me or my team, and we can really help you improve your life. I wanna help people. I want to help men transform their life and get what they want, because I proved to myself it's possible. I didn't get here by chance, by luck. I worked strategically, and I'm very capable to give that knowledge to other people. So book a call below and let me know what you think about this video, and I will see you in the next one.